Hello, my beautiful friends. My name is Alicia, and this is Ask Alicia. I'm so pleased to have you here. This is where I channel messages from spirits, all kinds of spirits. And as I kind of got the insight to do another video today, I pretty regularly ask, well, who are we channeling today? Who are we talking to today, right? Who's the special guest, if you will? And I just got the word God, just one, just God, all of it, all of that exists, God, Goddess, all that is, by any other names or by these as well. And the energies the last, especially the last 2 days, but also just in the last, I mean, let's be honest, it just keeps ramping up, right? So every time not every time, but I feel like I talk to you enough where I'm like, gosh, it's been the last 6 months, the last 2 years. And again, the energy is just ramping up. It's getting stronger. It's getting more vibrant, more present, more noticeable, more in your face, which is really exciting, really, really exciting to me. And also, just a nod that we do have a full moon. Obviously, it's daytime, but certainly, I believe tonight is the official full moon. But I looked last night; it is certainly pretty full, and it's one of the fullest moons of the year. And also, just a really special day. We're coming up towards the Lionsgate portal, which is August 8th, 8/8. And it's going to be in 2023 when we're recording this. I'm certainly recording this a little early, so no confusion there. But I'm really excited, and so I was kind of going through my tools. I'll pull a card today, but one of my favorite, I don't even want to call his work a resource or him a resource in any way, but one of my favorite teachers is Paramahansa Yogananda, and I've got these paragrams, they're called, and they're very special to me because they were a gift from the self-realization, from a woman through the self-realization fellowship, which some of you may know I used to be more involved with. And we'll talk about that story now. So I certainly was a yoga instructor of the Ghosh lineage, a hatha yoga practice. And certainly yoga is much more than a physical practice for those who don't know. And the Self-Realization Fellowship is the organization of Paramahansa Yogananda's as he came from India and began it here in the United States. So there, in India, it's the Ghosh Yoga College. It is his family's line of Ghosh Yoga. And then the Ranchi School for Boys is where he learned and had many experiences. If you're familiar with the autobiography of a yogi, that goes through a lot of his stories. And so I had learned from teachers where those lessons had been passed down person by person. And I am still so grateful for that time and for those periods in my life. It certainly shaped who I am today in this life and some of the knowledge that I share more actively and am more connected with. And so I was at the World Convocation. It was actually the very last one that was in the hotel where Paramahansa Yogananda actually died in LA. And I always loved that story where someone at some point, and I'm certainly paraphrasing, so excuse me if I don't get it specifically accurate, but someone along the journey had asked Yogananda how he wanted to die, and he said something along the lines of, doing what I love. I want to die talking with people, talking about these ideals and these teachings and this knowledge. And in the hotel during the event, many years ago, I was not present at this event, but the event carried on. I believe it was a heart attack, but he was at the podium speaking and he just collapsed to his death. And I always appreciated that because I recognized in that moment that I wanted to die doing what I love too. And when we start to think about synchronicities too, I remember being at the park where near my house where I grew up, and I met this older British man. I was just walking in the park, and we kind of came to tea, and we were both heading down the same path to the river. And so we walked to the river, which we walked to the river and then we walked back to the parking lot. So we talked for a good 45 minutes. We were walking and talking, and he's very interesting. He worked for the BBC and was incredibly knowledgeable. And I often ask, how people's families are, or who they're connected with, and things like that. And he told me that he used to walk with a black lab. He's very jovial, which I appreciated. And gosh, I might cry during this video. I've been so emotional. So, um, that's just something that happens. And it's good to have those releases as well. But this man told me that his dog had died in the river. I guess he had gotten swept away going after a ball. And it was the exact same statement. He said that he was very sad that his dog had died, but grateful that his dog died doing something he loved. And we are feeling so much of that energy of death and separation and detachment right now. And it's really a questionable energy because, on one hand, we are grieving most often with these deaths, with these separations, with these shifts and changes, and I'll call it a disappearance, right? A disappearing of either a physical being or something like that. But we are reminded that those energies live on the same way the event lived on. And so I was at this event in LA, and I was taking these notes rapidly, listening to all of these incredible spiritual teachers and monastic beings, and we would do these 4-hour long meditation blocks. And it was um, and I'm trying to remember the timing exactly, because there was a big event, and there's all these conference rooms, right? It's a huge conference room. There's thousands of people there, and one of the talks uh, was letting out, and so as people do, a whole rush of women are going to the restroom, and we're talking and chatting and all the things, and it's my turn to go to the bathroom, and it was almost as if motion slowed down. If you've ever had those moments where time slows and you can see exactly how something is going to play out before it does. And sure enough, this notebook with all of these notes and all of these writings of insights I had gotten from this event just kerplats, falls straight into the bathroom, into the toilet. And it was such an interesting drastic shift. And I was a bit in denial about it, but I certainly knew at that point, I was like, this is not for me anymore. And I was so dedicated. I wasn't expecting it to end. I was expecting to continue this path of spirituality with the Self-Realization Fellowship and continuing on these events and having um, some connection and path forward. So I was a bit in denial, but I certainly heard the message, and I knew then. Uh, and so after the break, we had gone into another 4-hour meditation long block, and I was there. I had found my seat. I settled in, and I had gotten my legs crossed into my yoga position with my back straight, did my deep breathing, and I was just so spiritually chatty. It was so chaotic. And I just kept feeling in my heart, like as if like my heart was pulling me out of the room again and again and again. And in these meditations, obviously it's silent, it's very quiet. Many of the meditations we do are silent, and sometimes they have some chanting in between at certain breaks and points in time. And so they're making these announcements. We don't like, not that we don't like it, but it's disruptive for people to come in and out. So they're making these announcements of when they're shutting the doors. The first one comes in, we're shutting the doors in 15 minutes, and then 10 minutes, and then 5 minutes. And I kept kind of declining my knowledge. And this is very interesting because I'm understanding how this is connecting in my personal life as I talk about it. And especially when we are the person to create an ending, certainly not a death. A death is much more organic, we'll say. But if we are leaving a job or ending a relationship or just creating a significant change in our life, it can be difficult to take that action to terminate whatever it is when it is on our responsibility to terminate that, especially when there's not really something going wrong. It's not like, oh, you were really mean to me, or this is so terrible, or this bad situation happened and I'm clearly going to end it. It's like, oh, everything is kind of going along status quo and I'm gonna nix it, right? So I understand that. And I'm sitting in this giant room with thousands of people getting ready to meditate, and they're on the loudspeaker, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. And I remember I just grabbed my shoes and I ran out down the hall. I was like, I've got to go. Because I had certainly waited till the last minute. And it was so clear to me that that chapter in my life had ended and had significantly shifted. And somehow dropping my notebook in the toilet wasn't enough for me just to accept that. I really had to feel it in that moment. So I just want to give you that reminder that nothing has to be wrong for you to end something. Sometimes it's just run its course and it's time to up level, to move on, to have a new chapter, to create change in some way. So with that, I did pull 2 paragraphs for us today. The first one is courage. And this one states, do not take life's experiences too seriously. I didn't read this before, I'm reading it to you. So it's so applicable. Don't take it too seriously, right? Above all, do not let them hurt you, for in reality they are nothing but dream experiences. Play your part in life, but never forget it is only a role. If circumstances are bad and you have to bear them, do not make them a part of yourself. What you lose in the world will not be a loss in your soul. I really didn't read this ahead of time, but we are talking all about the same things, all about loss. Trust in God. Our message today, our channeled messages are from them, they, him, she. Trust in God and destroy fear, which paralyzes all efforts to succeed and attracts the very thing you fear. All nature will commune with you when you are in tune with God. Realization of this truth will make you master of your destiny. I just want to read that again. Do not take life's experiences too seriously. Above all, do not let them hurt you. For in reality, there is nothing but dream experiences. Play your part in life and never forget it is only a role. If circumstances are bad and you have to bear them, do not make them a part of yourself. What you lose in the world will not be a loss to your soul. Trust in God and destroy fear, which paralyzes all efforts to succeed and attracts the very thing you fear. All nature will commune with you when you are in tune with God. Realization of this truth will make you a master of your destiny. Like I said, it's a lot easier to follow the good and to create, but part of creation is also destruction. We must destroy to create space so that new creations can come into their place. And it certainly takes a lot of courage. So I'm very grateful for this message. They're telling us we're just going right into the next one. So that's what I'm going to do. Our second paragraph of the day is universality. And it states, those who love God and who cannot be bribed by anything else are leaders destined to take mankind out of chaos, of sorrow, into the light of freedom and happiness. And I think you can see the theme here. We're also talking again about destiny and chaos and moving into those new spaces of light, freedom, and happiness. You should first serve your family, then your friends, then your country, then the world. The light of God is evenly distributed to all men and women, I'd add, though not all reflect it equally. Learn to see God in all persons of whatever race or religion. When you feel that, you are a part of the united world, giving love and service to all men as Christ did, then you will feel cosmic love, which is God. I love that they use that name, cosmic love, as a synonym for God, because it's so true. God is absolute love in all ways. It is the eternal, it is the light, it is the expansiveness, and it is the growing pains, of course. So I'll read it once more, just because I know there's a lot in these. Those who love God and who cannot be bribed by anything else are leaders destined to take mankind out of chaos, of sorrow, into the light of freedom and happiness. You should first serve your family, then your friends, then your country, then the world. The light of God is evenly distributed to all men, though not all reflect it equally. Learn to see God in all persons of whatever race or religion. When you feel that you are part of the united world, giving love and service to all men as Christ did, then you will feel cosmic love, which is God. That's really special. That's really special. Universality. Even that word, universality, is aligned with the word God, with that cosmic love. Asking now if there are other messages to share, and this is going to be a short and sweet video. So I hope you enjoyed this session. I hope you enjoyed these messages. Um, just a reminder, in addition to these YouTube channels, I do one-on-ones to dive deeper into your unique situation and to talk more about that and give guidance and spiritual advice, as well as precognition services. There's also the online program Free to Love, which is intended to connect you with that light of freedom and love in all ways possible. Everything that I do is energetically coded to give an opportunity to download new information that can alter your physical being on a cellular level. And we're reminded that when we have these dark spots or negative feelings or situations that we might observe as bad, right? That oftentimes there's our messages that it is time to create change, that it is time to create new beginnings, new chapters, and to alter our lives in some way. And I've definitely been called to that, and I think many of us are being called to that at this time frame. And also, if you're watching this at another time, it's probably still applicable, right? Because we all come into things at the right time. So if you're seeing this message now and it's applying to you, there's probably a reason you're here, right? So I certainly invite you to do some self reflection and see where you can make changes, see where you can come into a higher alignment with that love, light, freedom, joy, and beauty, as well as into that alignment with God by any name. I am so grateful and I thank you for being here. May you all be blessed.